We're here at West Ham United's training facility that's being revamped as we speak, actually. The Academy of Football, the original one. Dougie Robertson, head groundsman here, joins me. Dougie, thanks for bringing us here today. First time we've actually come around here. I've known you for a long, long time. But
no, we spoke about this, I don't know how many times, Mark, at different events and so on. And yeah, no, it's a pleasure to welcome you and show you around what we do, why we do, some of the mistakes we've made, and hopefully some of the future products that we're working on.
So you're in the middle of revamping things.
Yes.
and brand new facilities here.
Yeah.
Obviously you've got renovations going on as well at the moment. So what was the driving force behind upgrading the facilities?
The facilities, we've taken a lot of stick on facilities over the years, and we decided this year, we needed to improve some things. Fortunately, the chairman of the club, and we spent a lot of time deciding what was required, what was needed, what was correct, what was correct for the football club, and what we'll go around and see, hopefully, is worked for us. The feedback we've had so far is fantastic, from players, from first team and the under-21s, my facility that's just been built, and everything's coming together, and it's taken some time, but I'd like to think there was no mistakes during the construction, and the design process to where we're at. So yeah, it's been a good project. It's been really exciting to be involved in, and
Been a long time coming.
yeah. But again, it's what's had to be right for the football club, and the big part as well is you don't want to disturb when players are training. You don't want machinery disturbing them too much. You don't want, and the separation between contractors, staff, and how the facility continues to work is imperative.
And you've also you're in a residential area pretty much here, so that must put some restrictions on you as well.
Yeah, and we need to be mindful, noise, press days, safety, paramount, and the different groups that are training here. And it's a built up area, so yeah, it's good. It's good fun.
Now, when you say what's right for the club, I think that's probably worth a little bit more of an explanation.
Yeah. When I say right for the club, everyone's got their own opinions, and everyone works for their own football club, but it needs to be correct for the business, the football club, whether that's finances, whether that's the facilities, timings, availability staffs. It needs to be correct for the business.
And then is there a certain amount of what's right in terms of the profile, if you like, of the club?
Yeah, and across all our sites now, we've been working very hard over the last few years to bring the same colour schemes, the same look, the same feel. So if you come from one building to another, it's the same. And we train across 3 different training grounds. The London Stadium, where the main business, the core of the business is held. From all our commercial activities through to match day. And we bring those people down, so we bring partners down, and we want those people to feel the exact same as what being at the training ground as if they are at the stadium. So we've been working closely on that, corporate brand across all sites. It's important.
And you're not working with a limitless budget, so I know the Premier League's rich, but there is still some that all clubs are equal. Some are more equal than others, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because I showed a non-league football club what our renovations are against what their renovations are only last week, and he couldn't understand how we couldn't have the machinery at our disposal because of the budgets that the Premier League's allegedly got. We're a business the same as anyone else. We need to make ends meet, and I can't justify having the machinery. So it's easier for me, space-wise, more than anything, to hire contractors in to work around my timetable against what others are.
It does come with its own issues, though, because everyone's fighting for the renovation contractors at the same time, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's difficult. It's very difficult.
And then there's the weather.
Weather's a big one. But yeah, for some reason, it's always worked.
Right.
And we're very, very fortunate. We've got a great team of contractors around us. Not the same company. We use different companies. Yeah. And we spread it around just so we make sure we're getting best value for money. We're getting what's correct for us at the time. Does it fit in their timetable against my timetable? Whose timetable is going to need to move because of unforeseen? Fortunately, we've done okay this year.
Well, let's have a look around, shall we? I mean, there's lots going on. So where are we going to start?
Sure, we'll start down here, please.
Okay. So what we got here, Dougie?
So like everyone else, Martin, and I'll be the first to say I'm one of the biggest unsure of.
Right.
But we're trialling robotic mowers
Okay.
to see if they work. So we're on an off area the players don't use, and we're on a 6-month trial. Been really impressed.
So how far in are you?
We're only 3 weeks in, roughly.
Okay.
Great support from the company, it's an impressive piece of kit for something as simple. Is it the future? Don't know. If we could develop one that can actually lift the clipping, regardless how minute you're cutting off the grass each day, you're still dropping that debris back into the sward, into the ground, and it's that part I'm just not convinced on yet.
I think that works perfectly well in a domestic situation.
Definitely.
What issues does it give you, and what concerns does it give you?
Yeah, the concern is the build-up of debris in a player's stud if it was on the pitches. It's the technology's there. I'm not disputing. It's trying to get over that mental barrier. Is it the correct thing to do? And it's that part, and that's my debate. There's nothing about the machines, the technology. So we're trialling on an area that's not used by any players, just to see what do we think. What do we think of the quality cut? What do we think? We have moved it on to an area that we do some warm-ups, etc. on. Yeah, it looks fantastic. It really does. Labour saving and still give me quality.
So you're pleased with the quality of cut, because I know that was always a big kind of talking point when these things first came along.
And we deliberately put it on a rough area of grass to see how the quality cut is, rather than a maintained area of grass.
Gotcha,
and deliberately, because it's a little undulating, so does it keep a straighter line? Does it work itself out? But it works all night, so it takes the pressure off.
So this is going straight lines, or is it a random?
Straight lines, GPS positioned, so it'll work for roughly an hour. And then it will need to go back, recharge, and then it'll come back to the point that it left from and continue. But we've set it up so in 5 o'clock at night, when we very, very rarely train at that time, it will go and cut the fitness area.
Got you.
And it's in that area for 3 hours, so if it needs to go back and charge, we know we can get the whole area cut.
So it just takes itself over there, nobody has to be here?
No, completely self-sufficient, bar a little clean off every day. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so really impressed.
You're pleased with that. So this is just a trial area. You do a lot of trials?
Yes and no. We have our pitch we'll go and see shortly that's standalone from the other pitches. So if we're doing a fertiliser trial, we can keep everything away from any changes, without making any noticeable change to the first team schedule. But we can still monitor and do some trialling, which quite often give that pitch away for a year to give a good solid trial. Okay. And with that, we'll play with different grass seeds, mixed grass seeds, so on, different fertilisers. And you can make the decisions quite quickly, what works and what doesn't. But yeah, this is 6 months. But from what we've seen so far, very, very good.
So by the time you're into the new season, you'll know what's going on with this, and whether you're ready to sign a cheque or not. Yeah.
Oh, I can see it in golf, municipal areas, things that I get it. I'm just not convinced, and only because of build up and players' footwear.
Okay. Well, we're talking 6 months when you got this. Well, just under 6 months now, isn't it, when we got this one through?
Yes.
But I'm sure someone's working somewhere on something that's going to address your issues, hopefully, if it's not there already.
Hopefully.
So where are we going next, Dougie?
Now we've got the new 21s facility that we've just built.
Okay. So, big investment.
Yep.
This is what we're standing in front of now, brand new building.
Yep.
What's this one?
So it's the under 21s building, and we just felt we had to improve their facilities, so over the last year, we put up 3 buildings on 1 training ground, and over the season with no impact or disruption to the team.
Right. Okay.
So we're really pleased with that. A lot of discussion from coaches through to the design teams, and we've built a fantastic facility. Final parts of landscaping and so on going in, and some of the bits that get forgotten are, how do you move water from one flower bed to another? So making sure the ducting was put in correctly, so we can do that. And then making it the facility that will suit the whole club. So if we bring partners or whoever in, we can use the facility and still operate, keep the
commercial partners, you mean?
Yeah, and even as simple as if I want to do a staff training day, we can use a facility without needing to jump in the first team's area. And it becomes more of a better usage of the space. And where we were standing a year ago is where the skip lorries had come in and collect the waste. So, and I think we've made really good use.
It's literally. Is it being used yet? Because I know furniture's still being delivered.
We're just taking delivery today. Furniture, and running things around and just trying to make. But we need to get the 21s into this building before the end of season, so we can then find out what needs to be adapted, what works. As silly as the temperature correct in the showers.
Yeah, all those little snag things.
Yeah, and so hopefully we'll get there. And as I said, furniture's going in now. The more important thing's the dartboard's got fitted for the players. So,
darts is a big thing here, isn't it?
Big thing. So we'll get some better feedback and then ready for pre-season, which is only weeks away rather than months away.
So new building. What will we look at next, Dougie?
Next we'll go to my new facility. We'll go on to pitches and then we'll see the lookout from what the players get with their new facility.
Show me the way.
Just outside the 21s building, we're other 21s match pitch. We've got some corporate games going on today.
Do you get many of those?
Season. Yeah, end of season. It's just important to give. The people that sponsor the club support the club. So we give them a day. So we've got, we're probably 4 or 5 in now. We've got another several to go before the end of season. Listen, Mark, like any other groundsman, I'm desperate to rip the pitch up. Season's done. I want to get started, get ready for next year. But it's good, and we'll have 100 kids out here playing this afternoon. They'll have a barbecue afterwards and so on. And it's great, and today's a rare day that nobody's in the training ground. So it would make it worthwhile. The other plus from standing here, bits that we've done through this season, so all the seats got changed in the stands. But keeping it in the same club colour. So as you look across now, we've got claret, new gym. You can
notice I've come on brand. And blue trousers.
New gym, my new facility, and then we'll start shipping out during the closed season some of the temporary units and so on.
And what sort of pitch you got in here?
Fibre sand construction, but we have, like all the goalmouths and some of the pitches, we have stitched them.
Just the goalmouths? Just the
goalmouths. Stitching in here, we've done a trial with Deso 5 years ago, just after COVID. It was a conversation that I'd had with Dan Duffy pre-COVID, and they'd come in and we just trial different spaces, different yarns, and it's been really successful. Very pleased. And anytime we'll use a 5% pitch now, we will stitch the goalmouth and
have you had to renovate or renew any of the stitching? Or?
No.
Okay.
No, so this pitch was originally constructed in 2014, so we're now 11 years old this season, and it's still playing very, very well. Pleased.
So what's your plan for this one? It's just a normal renovation this year?
Normal renovation on this one. We've got some ideas that we're discussing as a management group. What do we want to do? How do we want to change? The 21's physios are desperate for me to put a running track for fitness through here. And it's all just choices, decisions, what works. And we need to make every part of the training ground usable. So we are limited on space. So we need to make sure every part of space is used. And I think we're doing a reasonable job on it.
But when you talk about limited by space, certainly not as limited as you were when you first had the job.
No. Again, I'm trying to explain to you, 2.5 miles from here is our under 18s and our women's training ground. Wrong time of day, 40 minutes. Correct time of day, you can do it in 10, 15 minutes. We have another training ground, another 2 miles from there, and it's just working what suits in the land that you've got available, and to pick up 100 acres, 150 acres of land inside the M25, it's nigh on impossible. And at the cost that people are talking now.
told me the interesting story earlier about how this kind of space got identified and how you had to write a report for Alan Kirbishley, who was the manager at the time.
So Alan asked me for a report on the training ground, and you can write page after page after page. A report only matters to, not so much for me, the detail that's in it, the cost, the reasons, right? And if you could write a report and just give snapshot, you'd probably get a lot quicker with doing less work. But ultimately, wrote the report. Every bit of jargon and blurg you could think in it was there, but knowing that it's not going to fully get read.
People only read the executive summary unless they got an issue with something, and they'll delve into it.
I pulled off. I went to do something. I think it was for my daughter's schooling, and ended up photographing the training ground from 1,000 metres, and then photographing multiple other training grounds at 1,000 metres, local school, this site, and just put a case together on that. And you know, sometimes a picture speaks 1,000 words. The phrase has never been truer. No. And fortunately it worked. You know, we were able to buy this area of land from Ford Motor Company, and it's worked well for the football club.
The interesting part was, part of your justification was, look, we're a professional football club. Were you Premier League at the time?
Premier League. And it's just, everything's got a price.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we can't get away from that. And it's, again, we touched earlier, Premier League money against the non-league money.
Yeah.
But the businesses are completely different. The only thing that's close or is the exact same is the size of the goal. Nothing else. Yeah. Because
width of the line?
Well, even then you go down to 75mm line instead of 100mm line, just because they can't afford the amount of paint. You're saving a quarter of paint on what we are. So the parameters are huge, you know, the sizes of pitches. So all the pitches at this training ground are the exact same size as the London Stadium.
Right. Okay.
Because that's the new rules. You know, so if you've got the space to be able to do it, you must have 105 by 68 as a playing surface. So, you know, again, drop back to a lower league, well, it might be 100 metres by 64 metres.
Yeah.
So as I say, the only thing that's the exact same is the size of the goal. You know, we all get crowds, different amounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all make revenue, different amounts. So it's trying to make the comparable sport exact for everyone.
But one of the interesting things you said is part of your justification, if you like. We're West Ham United, we're a Premier League football club. Look at these facilities that a local school have got, that a local sports club for a car manufacturer got, compared to what we're training on.
And the justification was there. And you look now, how many schools sell their pitches off for houses? And all my reasoning was, look at the size of our training ground at 1,000 metres against the school next door, with 15 grass pitches that are never used. And again, you know, we talk about kids in schools now, you know, obesity in kids, but they're still not on the sports ground. It's crazy.
One of the other interesting things about what we've been talking about is your job title is head groundsman.
Yes.
Yeah. But the things you're telling me as we've been walking around, you know, and as we've just been discussing already, is it's far bigger than that, because you're involved in a lot of the decision making around the building facilities. Your guys are actually doing a lot of the installation of the final fit, if you like, for certainly your part of the building. Have they taken part in that as well?
We've been involved in everything as a department, from ceilings, air conditioning, electrics. You know, we'll look after contractors doing floor laying and so on. And don't get me wrong, the builders have been fantastic. The contractors that were chosen by the football club. We have a man that works very, very closely with the football club, Neil, and we'll go to him and say, Neil, we need this. Right? Neil will go away and do a design, and he'll then help and direct us to get best value for money. So I worked closely with Neil. I had a meeting with him this morning, and that ranged from what furniture was coming in, you know, the positioning in the ice machine that we've just done, the works that are going on in the gym, some snagging lists on the new builds and so on. And it's exciting. It fills your day up more. You know, and I've not been working on grass fully for, I don't know, 12, 14 years now. And you know, you range, and you'll see when we go up, you know, some of the bits that are going on, but the decision to fit my facility out was purely because of the faults that we were having every tea break.
Right.
And that's as we'd all stop. The kettle would be on, the toaster would be on, the Ninja would be on, and we'd run out of electric. So
Right.
every day we were tripping the
Having to
fuse
get
board.
50p for the meter, yeah.
And so you're resetting it. So in the new facility, we've made sure that we've got enough so we can run everything. There's no problems. There's no, it'd be a pleasure to show you around it.
Okay, well, let's go and look.
This is a new facility, canteen for the lads, the staff, long time coming. But I think, as I touched on earlier, might have even been a lunch mum. We've tried to. Everyone's been involved, but we're trying to make it a relaxed area. So you come in, enjoy your lunch, enjoy your bit of downtime, relax. But the staff, they've been fantastic in doing this. You need still with some banging on behind.
So it's your guys are actually doing the final fitting here, yeah?
The builder's done the, obviously the construction of the building, the roofing, the walls and so on. But West Ham staff have done ceilings, air conditioning, electrics, local contractors hanging doors and so on for us now.
Yeah.
It's just, it gave us a personal touch of, it's ours. The silly faults that we've made previous in other areas, hopefully we've not done it on this area, and it just means that everyone's, it gives them their ownership. Hopefully, it will be, but the building will be respected more, and everyone will enjoy it.
And if it's wrong, it's their fault.
Yeah, I'd love to say that, but I need to carry it. I need to take that all off. But I'm not a painter. Right? I can't stand painting. My wife asked me to paint a room and doors. It's not for me.
Yeah.
But I've come in here and picked up a paintbrush, held up bits of metal as he's fixing ceilings and so on, peeled masking tape off areas that we've mashed up and made a mistake on. So it's been good, but very conscious not to take your eye off what we need to do.
Yeah.
And what else the business needs.
How have you managed that balance? Because that's how me sounds tricky. Because busy time of year.
And all the individuals that have been in here, we've made the time available. My time would be first thing in the morning, last thing at night. Spare half hour between something, hour maybe, weekends. But it's just felt it was important to be involved with it and learn a new skill set, learn a different something that you're not comfortable doing. You make a mistake. All right, fix a mistake, put it back right, and learn something new. You never know when you're going to need something indoors. You have somebody come and do work indoors, and what is he telling me the truth?
Yeah, got it.
Because I've done it. I understand it. I understand the makeup of it. And even it's just above your head there. The smoke detection and so on.
Yeah,
you don't realise what all needs to go into it. And air handling, separate air conditioning. The venting for sinks and so on. Learn a huge amount, and it's been fun. It's been good.
So you've kind of built this in conjunction with your team in terms of what you all feel you need and you would like in terms of not just the shed, but the support facility to be able to get ready and have breaks, etc.
Nowadays, staff more than ever. We're one big team of people. Everyone wants to feel we're part of, and nobody's the same. So some of the staff are nice and loud and great fun. Others are quieter. So we've got a separate room that if somebody wants to eat in peace, they can go into another room. And so being conscious of, and also how does currently I don't employ a female, not for any reason, but we've put toilets, showers and facilities in ready.
Yeah.
So we don't need to retrofit anything. We're ready for the next day, the next challenge, the next whatever comes in front. As the idea, and we're now looking at going down the digital route of jobs. Giving different tasks out, what works. I think one of your trips, Madrid. Paul had a fantastic system that I remember. And it's one that we just need to pick back up on. But even where does the TV go in the room? Can you choose a corner that nothing's going to go in, so the TV will go up in the corner.
Okay.
But it's away from where you're making your cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's hopefully just a relaxed enjoyment area for people to come into and unwind.
You certainly seem to have enjoyed the project.
It's been good. It's been good. And I'd love to say there's no mistakes. But, not chatting earlier to you about the prevailing wind, and of course today it's going in a different direction. But, and even in the actual, the main facility, when you're here in a few weeks, that'll be finished, it'll be a better area to go into and understand.
Just explain that, because very kindly you're hosting one of our summit focus groups, and fantastic for us, and obviously for people to come and have a look.
Yeah.
And some might say slightly brave because you're not finished yet.
I've been to, focus groups as far up as the Belfry, down, West London, Watford, Eton, and each time you get something out of that conversation. And I remember going back, the format I like, and I remember doing one with Rigby Taylor years ago, and it was brainstorming, there's a rep, Steve Denton, I don't think he's in the trade anymore, but he put 10, 12 people round the table, and we just brainstormed, for the day, had a bit of lunch, back in again, and it was a nice, relaxed, easy day. Your events are similar, so there's no hard, fast, set agenda because it's as the conversation takes.
Yeah.
The one in Scotland and Watford last season, it was great, really good day. You're not held massively by the times, so you can have lunch and go, I'm really sorry, but I need to get to work. And it's not a problem. And I just felt, we've got these facilities, why not come and use them?
Thank you for that.
It works well.
Really appreciate it.
Pre-season, team are away, so it should be a good day.
29th of July.
Yes. Lunch menu.
Check the website for details.
Lunch menu to be
decided. Yeah, we'll come for a tasting.
Okay.
Where do you want to show us next?
We'll go out on the pitches.
Okay. Well, you made me come up the training hill.
Yeah.
And 20 minutes later, we've got my breath back. Yeah. First team, one of their training pitches here. What you got going on here?
Where we're standing, the hill was built for fitness, so we've got two different angles. We're halfway through renovating it now, and then we look on to first team training pitches, under 21s pitch. We've just finished first part renovation on the 21s pitch and goalkeeping area that you can see in the distance, the water zone. Hopefully by end of tomorrow, we're fully seeded on both those areas.
Okay.
And then Monday we'll start renovating pitch 1 and 2. Which you can see big pile of fibre sand behind, just to redo the top section of the pitch. As we touched earlier, we'll re-stitch the goal mouth again though, which is just through wear. But yeah, the pitches have performed well. I've been pleased, considering the use that they've had for the space that we've got.
Yeah.
And I think anyone, any level, and whether we're in football, horse racing, golf, it doesn't matter. This year has just been dreadful, the weather. It's been cold, miserable, wet. And years ago, you'd have nice winter sun. It'd be a cold day, but it'd be nice and sunny.
Yeah.
Now it's just like somebody's turned the lights off in October. Left and just, and it's just dull. And then suddenly you come into, we've had 2 days of rain in April. So
much for April showers.
Yeah, you see areas drying off, blackening off. I've never been one to have a lush green site. Yeah. Right. So if something dries out, it dries out. Yeah. Let's concentrate on the playing surface. Let's concentrate on the bit that really matters,
rather than the aesthetics.
Yeah. And again, we spoke about the robotic mower. Times are changing. Yeah. We don't have as much available water as what we used to. We need to think out the box. We need to look at a different way. As I say, let areas dry off. We're sand pitches. We're going to have areas that are going to cause me problems.
So you mains water? Have you got your own supply?
Mains, yeah.
Okay. So you got a restriction on that?
No, but we have close relationship with the water companies. We have regular meetings with them to discuss what's best practice. We'll walk around as we've walked around today. And we'll show them areas that aren't maintained and how dry they are against an area that we're putting players on. And player safety, productivity, it needs to be key. It needs to be correct. So we're very cautious on chemical use, fertilizer use, and just what the plant needs.
Well, that takes us down a whole line of sustainability, or that thorny subject of sustainability. Yeah,
it is a thorny subject. It's an impossible subject, realistically. And do you go everything battery, some fuel? We're looking at, as a club now, we're looking at solar, wind, anything that is renewable energies. Yes, it's the right thing to do. Are we thinking about it too much? I don't know. Are we not thinking about it enough? Again, I don't know. Yeah. But we are on a trade that we can help the environment, because the amount of trees, 20 trees is 1 ton of CO2, yep. Availability. So it's always in the back of your mind. But on the same score, we've got big stadiums that we need to put people in seats.
Yep.
Where's the crossover? How does it work? So it's working out what works for the individual, the football club, the site, the facility, and making it as good as we possibly can. We walked through one of the bins in the car park. You joked about the West Ham badge on it.
Yeah.
But it was an old wooden fence that we'd taken down,
okay.
And we've made a bin. So does that count as your sustainability, rather than using it as waste? And again, one of the team made it. His idea, his design looks fantastic. There's another one just down the bottom of the hill there.
You've told me a lot of the kind of the emblems and the club stuff that's around are either being adapted from something else, or have been created by members of the team here.
Yeah, and the team love it.
Your team, not the football team.
No, my team. And
Gerald Bowen's not knocking out bins for you.
But the across all the sites, and again, we how many sites you look after was one of your questions.
Yeah.
We've got 3 training sites. We've got a community site at Beckton. We've got our academy house in Romford. So they all need a little bit of maintenance somewhere. The London Stadium, huge amount of staff work there. Obviously match day. Gemma does a great job playing surface. Yeah. Across all the sites, all the staff, and I'd love to name them all individually, but they've all got their own unique skill set to give to the football club. And it's great to see some of them turn their hand, come out of the comfort zone, do something different. The 2 young apprentices, one of them's my son, and hopefully they're the next generation to take it on. And they'll be the ones that are, deciding, is it a battery machine that we're buying this time? They probably won't have a choice. We'll have mowers with solar packs on them to power them now. I don't know. How far does it go? But it's all going to be relevant going forward.
You mentioned the next generation.
Yeah.
A topic that we've discussed and has cropped up many times in events that you've been along to is where are they coming from? Yeah. And I know you've tried to do your bit by getting out in the schools and found some resistance to that. Yeah.
It's for me, the whole education system needs changed. The thought process needs changed. We need to go back to, from my opinion, we need to go back to colleges, students in the college, getting to know the people that they are doing education with, because I still speak to people I went to college with 20, 30 years ago. And I do believe it's important. How do we break into the sectors in the schools? That is the most difficult thing I reckon I've done in the trade. So we wrote...
breaking into schools?
Yeah. We had 3 apprenticeship positions available a couple of years ago.
Yep.
We wrote to 10 local schools. Now, just behind that tree line, Martin, there's 2 secondary schools.
Yep.
Right, one of them's the biggest one in the UK. I guesstimated writing to 10 schools would have given me access to around 2,500 students
Yep.
off the age group that we were looking at.
Yep.
right? So break it down. You know, I'm not going to be greedy. Break it down. 10% might be interested, yeah, and probably the name West Ham United, professional football, right? So 10%, 250 we're now down to, yeah. And I had one school reply, yeah. How can that be right? Now I've spoke to you about the old magazines, the ones that don't get given out, right? Why can't we send them to the school? You know, as you quite rightly said, for how many back issues we've got, you'd never cover enough schools. Yeah. You know, so we get all the different trade magazines sent through to us. We'll often drop them into different schools, right? Just to try and get one person to show a tiny bit of interest. And if we can get that tiny bit of interest, great. So going back to the schools that were applied, I employed one lad, 16-year-old. He got the job, interviewed very well. And he looks after the Dagenham and Redbridge Football Club, where West Ham women's play their matches. Mitch was only 22, but he's a huge Dagenham and Redbridge fan. So almost ticked two, you know, he got him closer to the football team he loves. But then gave him his own playing surface to manage and maintain.
Brilliant.
He's done great. He's done really good. You know, it's a newly constructed pitch as well, so big pressures. But he's one of the very few. Yeah. So as I say, I've got two apprentices working with me now. They're both good people. You know, I'm not saying that because Daniel's my son, but they're both interested. They both want to learn. They both want to push forward, and they'll give something a go. They'll ask a question. You know, they'll challenge my thought process just because of what they've done. When the lecturer comes, you know, I think if we're getting questioned, then everyone else will raise their game and you know, concentrate. And the staff are great with them because they'll spend time, they'll discuss, they'll constructive criticism, you know, to go forward. You know, when we had lunch, we were telling you about the bendy lines and so on. And yeah, it does, because it makes you laugh because you've made those mistakes. And you can't ever forget those mistakes. I got on a machine now, my lines are probably as bad as what a brand new apprentices is. But yeah, it's I just feel it's important that we get these people back. We get people back interested. We get people that want to learn. Because we are a dying trade. It is terrifying. You know, and footballers' wages are they are what they are. You know, they're paid for the profession that they're in. But they can't do it without us. So, and please, I'm not saying, I'd love to be on the wages, but I'm not saying it's relevant, but the playing surfaces that we need to produce are watched by X amount worldwide. The player cannot do his job without a groundsman. And
the player is not safe without you producing a surface that's safe. You know, or the asset, if you want to put it that way.
You go to a final, right? I mean, even some of the league games now. You know, what's on the field? £1 billion, starting 11. You know, it's figures that are astronomical. You know, people. I think Jim at Twickenham put up a slide one day, just off what is a grounds manager nowadays. You know, and there's all the different bubbles that come into what a grounds manager is. You know,
there's a few more bubbles for you.
But every trade's the same. You know, the kit man. You know, in football, he's not just the kit man anymore. Because the conversations that go on in the kit room between players, the fun, the banter, the laughs. You know, we all need this join together to be the social group that turns up to get 3 points on a Saturday.
I've seen some of the comments about the kit man on the shirts that they've given him. So there's definitely banter. Let's put it that way.
And, you know, but it's all respected. You know, but it's all to get the best chance of getting a win on the Saturday. If football was even just a Saturday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
But it's all about that. You know, and I think if we lose that and it becomes too sterile, you steer away from having the bit of fun to get to the 3 points. You know, and we're fortunate at West Ham. The players will come up to the staff on a daily basis and we'll have a chat, we'll have a laugh. They'll know them by name. Even one of the big ones still, birthdays, you've got to bring cakes in. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're the manager, you're an apprentice. Yeah, cakes have got to come in and be spread around.
The club here has a very different feel to some of the bigger clubs that I've been to, yeah? And I guess that kind of ethos of all pulling together is actually reinforced by what you're doing in terms of fitting out your own
and hopefully, Martin,
rooms there.
I love the lads in the Premier League, right? My peers, colleagues, call them what you want.
It's not what you said over lunch.
No. We can all pick the phone up to each other.
Yeah.
Regardless what you've got, what you've not got. Chatting on the phone last night to Paul at Arsenal. Simple thing I saw in the background of one of his training pitches. Paul, we've been looking for us. Where did you get? And we got exchanged, I don't know, 10 messages, right? And a conversation soon went off what the subject was, but you're free enough to be able to do that and have the conversation. We had a Premier League meeting up at Belfry 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And everyone in the room, everyone discussing what, where, why. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're at the very, very top of the tree or at the bottom. We've still got the same problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. The weather's been rubbish. The results haven't gone the right way. The same rep. And so, yes, I agree. But we've done it how we've wanted to do it at West Ham United. Not how another chairman's decided how he wants to spend his money. I'm proud of what we've done here. We've made a lot of mistakes. You'd be hard pushed to find them, but we know we've made that mistake.
You've buried the bodies. Yeah.
But it's silly things. Even if you come up the main drive, I should never have taken that tree out.
Right. Okay.
Right? But I needed to at that time.
Right.
But it's left me a hole, and I can't replace that tree to the others that are in the avenue. So I'd put that down as a mistake. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's those little bits. And if we could change them, then I'd be, but nobody's perfect. Whatever you do something in your house, you made a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, it's, if your wife doesn't like it, it's then put back within a year.
Yeah.
We get there. A long way to go. Still more to do. Still more construction to do. Still more pitch building to do. Renovations to do. Hedges to cut. It never ends.
You seem to like it that way.
I still wake up and enjoy it.
That's good.
And it's, we can all wake up some mornings and go, oh, again.
Yeah.
But no, it's still a big buzz. And it's not when you wake up and think, it's Sunday. Yeah, we've got training because we're playing Monday night. It's right. It's Sunday. Come on, let's go. Yeah. We're in, and away you go. And I think the staff, they understand it, they appreciate it. You're still involved in with them as much as you can now. What would have changed? One of the biggest ones, probably being able to restrict the phone more, because it doesn't go away. If you leave it in the office, it's still there when you come back.
Right.
The messages still won't answer.
Yeah.
But
there's nothing you can do about that, Dougie.
No.
Can't uninvent it now, can we?
Exactly. So you've now just got to manage it and understand it and how it works. The day you stop enjoying it's the day.
Time to go.
Yeah, you need to make a decision.
Yeah. Dave Moisey stops shouting at you. It's time for you to move.
Right. That was I do remember his comments well. I've been fortunate. The managers we've had, they've all been really good. Good staff, good people, and they'll all have their own quirk, their own decisions, their own way of working, and we need to adapt to suit that. And I was asked the other day how many managers we've had. Yeah, it doesn't matter because we need to work with those people at that time, that day. And everyone will manipulate their decisions, their discussions, their choices, because no one way is right. And it still comes back, from education of an apprentice, education of a manager, a coach. Yeah, but because their philosophy could be we need X, Y, and Z. Well, if we can only give X and Y because Z's not available,
Yeah.
then that's what we've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's difficult for coaches as well coming in. New people, new staff, new thought processes, traffic to get to sites. East London, it's not the easiest. We've got a handful of roads that take you in the main routes into London, so everything's congested. Yeah, you try and manoeuvre around in the school terms in times. It's impossible in London. You get it wrong. Oh, it's horrible. And you're waiting on a delivery, and the driver, I'm stuck in school traffic. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, you're screaming for this this delivery.
Yeah.
Renovation time. Lorries run out hours, and he's literally parked up because he can't overly move.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got another lorry trying to get round, but the road's only wide enough to get. It's just the challenges. But they're still fun challenges.
You're still smiling while you say it, so that's good. Is there anything else you want to show us, or are we?
No, I think we're done. Just behind, we've got the new gym. I'm
trying
really
to avoid gyms.
Really pleased with that. But even some of the crazy bits that you could never have written, but the colour scheme. We've had to go and buy a big brush that you use for cleaning Arctics.
Right. Yeah.
Just because birds, and
I
need the birds to be. To do everything else that we take.
Yeah, they're all Spurs fans.
Yeah. Can't possibly say.
But Dougie, you're clearly still enjoying it. You're smiling all the way around. We've had a great day here with you today. I mean, you've given up an awful lot of your time. We appreciate that. If you take one thing from your time here at West Ham, when you look back, I don't know if you think about legacy or anything like that, but what would you be proudest of what you've achieved in your 20-something years?
Yeah, 27 years. It sounds crazy, I suppose, in one way, but probably some of the friendships I've made. Senior lads, the conversations, taking a call late at night, somebody, asking a question, a direct question. I've really enjoyed that. Of some of the apprentices that I've had over the years, have gone on. You've done an interview piece with Jim Matheson. 7 months ago. And he spoke. I watched the interview, and he spoke very highly of myself and Steve Braddock.
Yep.
And I did enjoy it. The joy's not the, as in, God, what a great interview. I really enjoyed watching that.
Oh, thanks.
But I enjoyed the fact that he spoke so passionately of what he learnt from myself and Steve.
Yeah.
The crossover, the similarities between how we worked, but had never worked together. So I enjoyed that. So I look back, some of the apprentices are still in the trade. Some have moved on to completely different things. Some have moved on into local authorities, staff that I worked for. So I like seeing their career progression.
Yeah.
I hate it when they come up and say to me that they're moving on. But they've already made that decision. So it's not a case of, well, I'll give you, let me go and speak to HR and try and get you some more money. Let me try and do this. They've made the decision. So very quickly you've got to decide, how do we get through this? Yeah. What's the best exit for the individual, the club, right, myself, and then you go to the lottery of advertising. And I hate that part. I absolutely despise that part. It's a minefield. And whoever you speak to, wherever you are in the country, will tell you it's a minefield. I don't know anyone that enjoys it. And you then got the 6 months to integrate them into the team and to, so all those bits. But, I enjoy the technology that's coming through. I don't understand it. I'll be the first to admit I'm not tech savvy. The meetups, just everything really. I couldn't pinpoint one single thing. The decisions we made across the different sites, you know, and even down 99, I think it was, we'd done some consultancy work for the World Cup that was in Korea.
Yeah.
You know, so, and you can look back that far just in here, in this part. When I was with Scottish Rugby Union, some of the conversations we had, some of the experiences from rugby matches to concerts, pitch events, facility management, yeah, and you know, those memories you could never get rid of. You know, the some of the laughs that went on. Working on golf prior to that, great times, great experience, great education. So yeah, there's not really been any significant bad parts to make it unenjoyable.
Okay.
You know? So would you do it again? Yes. Would you tweak things? Of course you would. But I would still like to push the apprenticeship scheme. You know, I do believe in it. I still enjoy, we do the odd work experience. I think it's important. I came into the trade through work experience. But you just need to be so much more correct nowadays on everything that you do. When you know, you're interviewing somebody for a job, sorry, bouncing around a little here, but, and you say to them, you'll have a conversation about the job that you're doing.
Yep.
Right? And it's not the person that you're standing having a conversation with that you're worried about. It's the person that hears a quarter of the conversation behind. That then leaks towards social media, then leaks towards another conversation that was never said. Yeah. And again, they're the adaptations that we need to look at. And it's just that education part of bringing people back forward, bringing it, you know. And football's it's a crazy, crazy sport to be involved in because everyone wants to know the business. Yeah, and we need to show what our business is, right? So last week we had Premier League standing on the exact same spot that we're in, the broadcasters, because they're monthly filming, you know, which they are contractually, we must give them. And the likes of today, very rare day, nobody's here at all. You know, so we need to keep our business public as much as we physically can, but inside the hedging, we need to keep our business, which is our business, and keep it compact. And it's understanding every other department's needs for the football club to function. And that's what we try and install to the staff.
Dougie, it's been an absolute pleasure. We're going to have to wrap it now because we've run out of batteries.
Right.
But we'll see you soon, yeah?
Cheers, Mark.
When July, yeah.